welcome. Thank you all for joining. I think you all know who I am. Chamber of Commerce. We're supporting what the Pathway is doing, and we have Maryellen Gates here tonight, to talk you through it. So over to you, Maryellen.
Thank you, Fraser. Yeah. So I think I know most of you, but once again, my name's Maryellen Gates. I'm the Pathway Coordinator at Pembroke High School. So I want to thank you for taking the time to come and learn more about the Pathway program and the possibility of being able to help our future workforce. I'm going to start with the success of this program. It's really reliant on the community, and I'll end with the community as well. But as far as support, I really want to give a thanks to the Chamber of Commerce, especially Peter Brown, who's not here today. But from day one, working with him, with Mike, with Diane and marketing and Fraser, they've supported the program. They've promoted it. For example, programs are nights like this. And they actually, for the past 2 years, have hosted an intern. So I really appreciate it. So thank you. So this is our third year of the program. And let me tell you a little bit about where we're heading. Keep talking. Okay. So tonight, I'm just using the down key.
But it's not working, so
Yeah.
you keep talking.
Yeah. What over the goal of the program, we will talk about some of the logistics and the requirements for the mentors. And finally, we'll talk about what our needs are for internships moving forward. So there are 8 pathways. I'll quickly give a different definition of each one. The biomedical pathway, if you think about the careers a student may choose, if they're in a biomedical science pathway, they could do biomedical research or more on the healthcare end, the clinical end, such as a nurse, physical therapists, occupational therapists. Then we have business and entrepreneurship. A student may choose to own their own business someday. They may want to get into marketing. We know social media right now is huge. Finance, accounting, computer science. These are the students who are really into computer science as far as programming. They're learning different programming languages. They're learning how to develop mobile apps, which are so important right now and so hot. Digital arts, this is really our creative students, and they are earning certifications to help them with logo design, website design, page layout, any type of marketing material, professional level. The digital art kids can perform that. Global citizenship and learning. These folks may desire a career in politics. They may want to be a lawyer one day, a translator. Info technology, what's the difference between that and computer science? Again, I mentioned computer science more as our programmers. Info tech is more of the folks that are behind the scenes. So if you think about how do we have internet here in the library? How strong is our Wi-Fi? The folks in info technology, that's what they would be learning during their 4 years. Manufacturing and engineering. This is a new program we have. This is our second year. Again, anywhere from civil engineering to mechanical with a focus, though, on manufacturing. And finally, music. As you know, we have such a talented group of students at Pembroke High School in music. So maybe this is someone who wants to go into the theater or someone who wants to be a musician someday. Some numbers I think is interesting to share. We have about close to 40% of the population at the high school is on a pathway. And when you look at these numbers, what I want to point out and why we're hosting events like this is this year we have 22 seniors, but each year after that, the numbers are growing. We have roughly 61% of our 9th graders have enrolled in a pathway. So if I think about placing folks in internships, I see the need is in the future as far as spreading the word, not only in Pembroke, but throughout the South Shore community. One thing you might notice is the biomedical science one is the most popular with 89. And engineering is pretty popular too, with close to 50. You might say, well, why is there a 0 for seniors? Both of these are new programs. So the students have only gone through 2 years of those classes. And next year, those students in those categories will be ready for an internship. And to earn a Pathway Scholar designation, they have to meet certain requirements. During their 4 years, they have to take specific coursework. They have to earn 22 credits. They have to participate in employability skill workshops, resume writing, interviewing. And finally, they have to complete an internship or certification. In some circumstances, students do both. One thing I want to highlight with these certifications is our students have a wonderful opportunity while they're in high school to earn certifications that are industry standards. So these are certifications that professionals are taking themselves. So think about the skills that they are getting and they can put on their resume when they graduate high school. That I know I've passed a certification for Adobe Illustrator, Adobe Photoshop, Microsoft Excel, seal of biliteracy. I can speak Spanish. Think how the opportunity that's going to, how many doors that's going to open for these students. So I think these certifications is something definitely that we promote and we encourage the students to pursue. I mentioned that the students have to complete 22 credits of classes. This is an example of our curriculum map, and I'm not going to go through it, so don't panic. But it shows you the students start in ninth grade, most do, and you can see the classes for business that they would have to enroll in. My job is to work with the students through the 4 years, and I help them. Okay, if I have a ninth grader, we're doing class selection for next year, we would pull out the map and say, let's select our classes for 10th grade. And I ensure they get the classes that they need. So you can, if you choose to host an intern in a particular pathway, you can know that they spent most of their times for their electives focusing on that particular pathway and really getting those skills. So let's talk a little bit more about the internship program. So what is the goal? The goal is to give the students an opportunity to apply what they've learned. I said they're spending 4 years in classes. So now they're a senior. The internship typically happens term 4. So it's the last term of the senior year. They have all this now knowledge and skill sets, and they would like to apply it in a new setting, in a professional setting, so that they can learn from a mentor outside their teachers. And our past internship partnerships, I'll give a shout out to Mike and Kathleen at the School of Performing Arts have been so nice. They've taken interns the past 2 years. Really appreciate that. But as you recognize all of these logos. These are the folks in the community that have, again, day one supported this program. And I made a contact with the chamber in Plymouth, and I'm starting to expand beyond Pembroke to get the word out. So please, if you think about your contacts, again, the students can travel. Most of them do have cars, so they're willing to travel. What's the type of work that they perform? It ranges. I would work with you to figure out a job description. We figure out what you need, and I would place the right student with you. You have a chance to interview them, which is great. But some of the things that the students have done in the past for the business students, you know that they love their phones. They love to be on it. They're very savvy with social media. So if you need a boost in your marketing, they can help with your social media marketing for that. They've done newsletters. They know Excel. They can do some spreadsheets. The computer science students really can help in a help desk capacity, fixing computers, help with inventory and digital arts. Again, they can do logo design, postcards, any type of professional marketing material that you may need. So what's the time frame? It's 6 weeks. So it has to be a total of 150 hours. Again, it's term 4. So for this year, it's March 31st to May 22nd. So instead of going to school, they would go to work. You are there now as a mentor. You are now their supervisor. I'm involved every step of the way, but you are, in sense, they're checking in with you each day. So the other opportunity that we're looking at, because we saw before the previous slide, that our numbers are growing. And some students choose not to go out for term 4. So we're starting to think rising seniors. So, after junior year, there might be a need for some students to complete their internships during the summer. And if a mentor is willing to do that, we're willing to find a student that would want to complete it during the summer. What are the students' deliverables during this 6-week time frame? They have to do weekly journals that they submit to me. They have time cards that they have to submit so I can ensure that they're roughly working 25 hours a week. And I'm involved every step of the way to give them feedback. If there's any issues that you may have, we want to nip it in the bud. So I'm not constantly, but I'll check in with you to see how things are going. The goal here is to have a partnership. I want you to be happy. I want the students to be happy. So we need to work together. All students will have a professional resume. You will have the opportunity to interview them. So you might have 2 or 3 candidates that, you'll give me feedback after and say, this is the one I'd like to choose. And we'll see if we can get a good match there. They also attend employability skills. So we did our resume. Those are all done. Right now, we just practice interviewing. And we talked about you got to look at the job description, make sure that you are aware what the requirements are before you meet with the mentor. And then we will go into employability skills. We'll talk about workplace etiquette, what they should be wearing, how do you behave, what should you do with your phone while you're working. All those things that you think you would take for granted that some 18-year-olds, 17-year-olds have never had to practice. So we'll ensure that they know that. And again, I'll be in contact with you to make sure that they're meeting expectations. So the number one question is usually, what do I have to do? Again, a partnership. Let's work together to create a job description. I want it to be meaningful to you. I don't want to tell you this is what the student can do. I say, what do you need to have done? Let's write that down and let's find the right match for you. You need to interview the candidates. You need to provide clear instructions. You have to remember these are kids at the end of the day. I've had a couple of sole proprietors reach out to me and say, can they work remotely? Right now, we're not entertaining that thought. They need to be on site at least a couple of days. Now, if you have a newsletter that they can work independently and you said to them, oh, tomorrow's Friday, why don't you work at home on this and have this deliverable on Monday? That's fine. That's between you and the student. But we can't have somebody wanted an arrangement that student would work out of their house and they'd meet them once a week at Dunkin' Donuts. I go, well, they're kids and it's the last month of school. I don't think that would work. So we need someone to be on site. We would have a midpoint evaluation. We just sit down, the 3 of us. How's it going from your end? How's it going from the students? Any feedback? And we have weekly time cards you would sign. We always want to ensure we're placing the student in a safe environment. So we require query checks, just similar to any other school environment. And finally, you need to participate, or we ask you to participate in the Pathway Scholar Celebration. So this year, this will be May 22nd. This is at the very end of the program. And now we have an opportunity to celebrate. So I want you to visualize, we've done the past 2 years. As we grow bigger and bigger, we're going to have to think of a different format. But in the past, it's similar to if you've had a child go through a science fair. We have the students prepare some sort of a presentation that they have on a table, and we invite their parents, the school committee, we invite the mentors, and you would have the opportunity to go around and speak with the other students to find out what they did during their internship. And then we recognize their achievements. So it's a great event. We usually have it around, I think, at 8:30 in the morning or 9:30 in the morning, so you can come before work and celebrate your mentee. So what's the benefits to a mentor is one of the great things, you'll have a new set of hands. So somebody who's eager, we have so many talented students that are motivated, they want to do well. They are ready to be put to work, and they're added resources for you. And then you get the opportunity to give back. You have years of wisdom that you could share with, again, somebody who's going to be our future workforce. So that's something that I think you'll find satisfaction in. And I think that at the end, you'll say, I'm willing to do this again. That's our goal. So, how can you help? Again, I'm going to end with the community. We need help. We need to, as many host businesses that I can find. Right now, we have a need for business internships in digital arts. So we have about 10 kids I'm looking for placement with. Um, the other, and I'll talk about that in one more moment, but the other thing, if you know somebody or yourself would want to come in and speak with the students. Last year, I had some healthcare professionals come in from Signature Healthcare. They spoke with the biomed students. I had someone, an engineer from Lockheed Martin, come in and speak with the engineers. Next week, we have Tech Etch coming in and they're speaking with the engineers. They're an engineering company in Plymouth. So the kids love to hear from outside experts. And it's nice for the teachers because they can say, see, that's what I said. And they get someone else saying the same thing. So it helps us to reinforce messages. So again, our spring program is starting on March 31st. So we're in the process now of helping people put together job descriptions so we can get some interviews going during the month of February. We have 7 business students and 3 digital arts. And then also planting the seed for biomed and engineering for summer or next spring. Questions? Anyone have They should do it outside, but, if it's the journal is about they have to do like 4 entries, each one 250 words. What did they do this week? So it's not a heavy lift for them, but they have to do it on weekly in a timely manner. Oh. 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 The question was the weekly journals. Oh, okay. Okay. Other questions? Oh,
Do you have any, or do you plan on compiling any experiences from the businesses that have utilized this program? We got a lot of businesses that might be in this to see some kind of either reviews or statements.
sure.
And
Yeah, so that's something I could definitely put together. Prior to I started the presentation, we had on a loop, and I can share with you. It might be helpful that all the students for the past 2 years who've had an internship, where they worked and what they did. But I could definitely get some testimonials from some mentors and some feedback also from the mentees. I'm still in contact with most of the kids. Right, and Mike was a mentor. Sure.
So last year we hosted 2 interns, and the year before we hosted 2 as well. Both years, we also provided the space and some oversight for a 3rd intern that worked for the Chamber of Commerce. So clearly, if you want to have some conversation, I'm happy to do that at any time. And we can chat after this meeting if you want, when I don't have the microphone anymore.
Other questions? One question I always get is, can the interns be paid? Is it a paid internship? It's an unpaid internship. However, seems like the environment at different schools have changed and we're changing with it. If somebody would like to pay them per hour, especially if they're working in the summer, you can pay them. Last year, most I would say most of the mentors gave the student a stipend at the end if they did a nice job. So it was kind of more based on performance. They gave them a check at the end. I kind of keep that between the mentor and the mentee. So, and if you choose not, if they didn't fulfill their requirements, then they don't get a reward. But that's usually a question I will get. But it's not a requirement. I realize some places cannot afford to pay the students. Yeah. Well, I'll be here. So if anyone want have individual questions or some, if you're interested in hosting an intern that I can help you with the process, happy to help. But thank you again for coming tonight. please spread the word, and I'm happy to provide any marketing material that you might need.
Thank you, Maryellen.
Thank you.
Actually, the marketing materials are all at the back. Is that correct?
Yes, and
So at the back of the room, if you want to help yourself. And the Chamber, of course, is supporting this initiative, and we're reaching out to all of our members as well. So
thank you.
great presentation. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.